Hi, I'm Robert Osborne, and welcome. Thanks so much for spending this time with us. In just a couple of hours, we're going to have the premiere of Episode 9 in the documentary series, The Story of Film, An Odyssey. It's an installment which looks at films of the late 60s and 70s, when American cinema was going through a real revolutionary change, as a whole new wave of filmmakers took a foothold in the industry. New directors such as Mike Nichols, Steven Spielberg, Martin Scorsese, Peter Bogdanovich, and others. And before we bring you that episode, we're going to show you one of the films discussed in it. It's The Graduate, from 1967, directed by Mike Nichols, and starring Anne Bancroft, Dustin Hoffman, and Catherine Ross. Dustin and Catherine being unknown commodities to the public at the time the film opened. In the movie, Dustin plays a recent college graduate named Benjamin, with two things on his mind. What's he going to do now with his life, and why is Mrs. Robinson, the wife of one of his parents' friends, looking at him the way she does? Well, he soon finds out, at least about Mrs. Robinson, and suddenly Benjamin's life becomes very complicated. Yeah, he dallies with Mrs. Robinson, but he also falls in love with her daughter. The cast of this movie is exceptional, right down the line. The main role is now indelibly linked with Anne Bancroft and Dustin Hoffman, so it does come as kind of a bit of a jolt that it was Doris Day who was first offered the part of Mrs. Robinson. Doris turned it down because, as she wrote in her autobiography, rolling around with a young man half her age whom she'd seduced wasn't her cup of tea. Then Ava Gardner put in a bid to play it before Anne Bancroft was cast and certainly made it her own. Robert Redford, still basically unknown and unheralded at the time, tested for the role of Benjamin, but as he later said, "My problem was I didn't look like a virgin even when I was one." Candice Bergen tested for the Catherine Ross role, and it kind of makes you wonder how different would this movie be and its impact if the film had any other actors in the roles but the ones that Mike Nichols eventually chose. The ones he did choose and worked with are, well, matchless. So here also with Murray Hamilton, William Daniels, Buck Henry, and in a very small role, a young Richard Dreyfuss. 1967, one of the great movies of the decade, with music by Paul Simon and Art Garfunkel, The Graduate.